every time I look in your eyes. Baby, I can feel your energy, it's making me realize everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I. Everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I. You wanna know my feelings every time I look in your eyes. Baby, I can feel your energy, it's making me realize everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I. Everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I.
I'm not. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. Sorry. My bad. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Women's League Season 3. My name is the Russian Cthulhu. We are back again with the beautiful Pie. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, it was lovely, taking a break between that season 2 downtime to the season 3. Um, I've definitely missed talking to you. I definitely miss catching up with you, Cthulhu, on a week by week basis. How have you been?
Yeah, I've been doing all right. Quite, yeah, honestly, as well. Excited the for yet another wonderful season of Women's League. We have had a few roster changes as well for a fair few rosters and some of the rather new introductions as well to the league. So there's plenty of things to really talk about. But before we get into all the nitty gritty of the whole season, actually, as a matter of fact, we have the MVP prize from our wonderful sponsors, ZQ Racing, that like in season 2 we're able to present us with the wonderful MVP prize that will be granted to one lucky winner and the MVP player of this season by the conclusion of the playoffs as well. So yet another V6 Racer gaming chair will be given away, and well, we'll get to see who shall win that chair um, at the end of the season. But with that said, it's good to be back. First of all, let's have a look at the teams that have managed to sign up, or rather came back from season 2 as well, as we had a few uh, few new faces, few returning teams as well, and some of the rosters did manage to go through quite a shake-up as well. Would you care to run us through some of these names, Pi?
Yeah, so the teams who signed up this season in the Season 3 Women's XP Esports are 71st, ShadowNet, Nutty Gaming, Kingswoman, Barry's Bees, Nocturnal, and Elevate. And as Cthulhu, you were saying, some of these names are definitely extremely familiar because they were actually, participants in Season 2 as well. However, later on, we will be delving into the nitty-gritty details of exactly who makes up these rosters, and we'll actually see a few familiar faces, perhaps, a little reshuffled in our teams, but familiar nonetheless.
Correct. And let's also have a look at the prize pool for which these teams are going to be battling for, as well as the total prize pool is the very nice $3,000 reduce. First place will be granting themselves $1,500, second place at $1,000, and then third place as a prize for still making it, $500. Still pretty nice, pretty good. Still worth to play for. So definitely a pretty neato way of essentially saying thank you for playing and rewarding the teams who made it to the top 3 bracket. So look, I'm just excited as it is, because not only the teams get to play for some of the finesse, some of the titles as well. Maybe Elevate will be making a huge return here to the first place, or maybe we shall be seeing some of the newer faces to be introduced to the play. But let's also have a look at the head-to-head. The first 2 teams that we are going to be seeing tonight, that we shall be seeing battle it out on also a very interesting map. Well, interesting map. We'll mention why it's so interesting later on, but it's Nutty Gaming versus 71st. 71st was a team that was able to finish previously around the middle of the pack leaderboard. So they did prove us that they are still worthy to stay and start crawling towards the top of the leaderboard slowly but surely. But curious if their new opponents, Nutty Gaming, will be able to do something about it, or rather step in front of them. So let's delve deeper into the rosters and maybe deconstruct some of these new additions.
Yep, so the roster for Nutty Gaming consists of Cass as the team captain, Fallen, Cheesebender, Yoshi, Baki, Novawick, as well as their coach, Coach Spags. Now, some of these names, as we were saying, are familiar from last season. They were actually under a different team, if I remember so. It was called Enix. So it's good to see, some of these members returning, as well as these new additions. So, as you said, Cthulhu, I'm extremely curious to see how this new roster, their synergy, their plays, their strategy, just to see what they're all like.
Yes, definitely quite excited. She's been making a return. She was a pretty solid player overall for Enix previously. Yoshi as well. Did have a few noteworthy performances. So yeah, quite excited to see what these girls will be able to perform. But let's have a look at the 71st, the returning roster from Season 2. Well, I believe a few changes here and there. We still have Toki coming back. We still have Zero Prince and Daddy Maddie. But we do have the introduction of Weasel, Meeps, and Tickdoff, as well as their team coach, Fakers.
Yeah, and if we look at some of the stats from last season, in which, if any of you were curious enough, they are posted up on the XP Women's Discord for the Season 2 stats of all the teams, and, we're just referring ourselves off that as well. Toki, Weasel, Zero Prince, and Daddy Maddie, yep, they were all participants of last season's 71st, and, they all did quite reasonably well. There is a difference in the roster where they're missing Glazed, who actually did really strong on their team last season. So I'm curious to see, if the replacement can live up to the standard as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll have to see whether some of the fresh introduction to the league will be able to perform up to the standard, and whether we shall be seeing something different. But let's also have a look at the map that is going to be played out today, it is going to be none other than Oregon, our favorite map at this point. Well, we shall be seeing played out. We've seen quite a fair bit of it, including in some of the other leagues as well, like LPL, like the Oceanic Nationals. And Oregon has been slowly becoming one of those maps that is pretty much each and every team now starting to really, I suppose, overstrat. And some of the older rosters. Some of the rather older maps are starting to become one of those kind of the rare maps where the good teams may fall. Technically, one of the ways to really also showcase that was in LPL Pro, where I saw, I believe it was Bands Gaming playing against Rufflecopter, who were just essentially like a ragtag team of the Pro League veterans. And Consulate was there for them, which was quite a interesting, to say the least, scoreline, which did result nearly in overtime. But the reason why I'm kind of getting to is, the idea rather, what I'm getting to is, I'd imagine that if we will see something across the lines of Consulate, maybe Theme Park. This is where I would imagine teams like 71st, Nutty Gaming, technically, if this is one of their first introductions to the competitive scene, if they will be able to really have the advantage here over some of the more difficult teams.
Yeah, drawing off the data we have on season 2, the most popular maps were Clubhouse and Oregon. So to replay them over and over again, I wouldn't call it a bad strategy. Sure, there's a lot of VOD material, sure, there's a lot of, prior leaked strategies, I would say. But, if like some new maps were being played, like Consulate, Theme Park, maps that we have never seen in XP Women's in season 2 at least, any team who is proficient on those maps will be able to really surprise their opponents and maybe catch them off guard and take the win for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. Now, also, in addition to our wonderful map videos as well, we do have the information that it will be Nutty Gaming that will be starting on attack with 71st on defense, and for the overtime, it was the Nutty Gaming that picked defense for their overtime. So, for those who are just seeing, first and freshly coming in to watch Women's League this time, we do have, it's a best of one for each one of the matches for the regular season, as well as that there's overtime. So the only way to really get the points is either win or, well, if you lose, you don't get any points at all. And for the playoffs, I believe we will be having a best of 3 set of matchups. So we shall be seeing some of the rather interesting storylines form up. But we will soon enough get to the matches. We're just waiting for a few more members of the teams just to join the lobby, and after that we'll be straight on the way to Oregon. But maybe you could give us maybe a few theoretical predictions here, Pi, or do you reckon we'll just we could see something of a bit of a kind of a dark horse action, I suppose?
Well, I can't really say anything for certain because I haven't seen any games come out of, the newly reformed Nutty. I haven't seen any games come out of 71st. I really don't know, what their synergy, what their, plan of attack per se is going to be. Just based on like a rough outlook, I'd say these two teams are quite evenly matched. I think it really all falls down to how much have they practiced, how well do they think they know their opponent, and how much confidence they have going into today.
Yeah, confidence is going to be quite a big question, which will be tested, I suppose, throughout the without the. Oh my god, I just lost my train of thought. Holy.
Without the VODs? Or?
Without the VODs, yeah, that would be the right way, the right one, the one that I was thinking about. So yeah, first day, first match of the season. So genuinely curious. We have the R's, I believe, from both sides actually. So good luck and fun will be coming out as well. The game is just about to begin. Let's give a quick look at the wonderful Oregon before we get straight to the ban phase. There we go. Well, not Barry B's. I believe it's still 71st, but we shall be seeing the ban phase 2 begin here for us. Good luck, have fun's coming out, and it's 71st to ban. It will be Thatcher to kick things off. Unsurprisingly, the SAS operator, even after the rework, has been still a very powerful operator to enable certain pushes.
I do want to say, I actually seen a poll come out on Twitter the other day where people were asking, who is actually the stronger, gadget denier operator? Is it Thatcher or is it Kali? What do you think about that?
I would personally say Thatcher, just because with Kali you could the whole interesting thing about her lance charges is that they work on the plane where they land. So say if you place a Kaya charge, like say about half a meter away, where it's just the outline of its charge touching the wall, the Kali charge is not going to hurt it. So whereas with the Thatcher EMP grenades, they work in like a spherical area of effect, so it doesn't really care like how far or how close it'll still disable. So even in the current meta, I would probably say Thatcher, just for its the ability to kind of have effect even past the wall.
Well, speaking of the difference between Thatcher and Kali, it seems like the attackers in this case have definitely not slipped up, and they've actually picked Kali. Thatcher ban might have gone out, but they still have some element of gadget denial. For those of you who aren't aware, as we were saying, Kali's lances are able to pierce walls and destroy gadgets on the other side, whether that be the mute jammers or I believe the bandit charges if the Kali charge is placed correctly.
Yep. Yeah. So with the Kali charge, essentially, if the teams would really want to say get rid of multiple utilities, so say for example, there's a new charge right at the attic wall that is also jamming out the wall from down below into the stage, they would need to either technically even a single lance right onto the wall or down below from the ceiling should really do the trick. So I think the Kali pick here is still not going to really change a whole lot of things, apart from the fact that it would actually give Yoshi quite a whole lot of range to actually play around with.
I do want to point out, I actually remember Yoshi, on the Kali last season. I remember there were a few matches where she actually did spectacularly on the Kali. So I think she's definitely a player to keep an eye on in this entire match at least, because her skill with that Kali is almost scary to verse up against.
Yeah, she was actually a very scary Kali player previously, so I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden we shall be seeing her do just an absolute banger of a job. Actually, for that matter, let us take a look. Whereabouts is she still? Oh, she was just droning out for the team, and I'm assuming she would probably go to rendezvous with with her teammates right at the watchtower. But Toki's position here could potentially throw in a spanner in the works.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to clear those mute jammers off on that attic wall. A lot of the times the common play is to go below onto that stage to actually clear it out from below. So, Toki holding it there is quite an intimidating force to go up against. However, luckily for Nutty, no one is going down below. They do have that Kali ready with those lances, and they are able to open up that breachable wall onto attic, which means a little bit of pressure is going to be put onto Zero Prince. A little bit of damage does go out onto Cheese Bender, but it is going to be Yoshi who's holding down the fort. Those Kali shots, sniper shots, are definitely a force to be reckoned with. How it is Cass getting the first kill onto Daddy Matty. A beautiful headshot like that.
That was actually right on the white stairs as well. Meeps, though, manages to get a trade onto Fallen Prestige, so that is the Ash all forward. But meanwhile, there's still plentiful amount of action happening in the attic. Finally, Zero Prince does get down with the sniper rifle and finished off by Yoshi, so we're back to a 3 versus 3, but Toki's position here is going to be crucial. One does find that shot onto Nova, and well, right now it's down to Yoshi and Kaz. Both of them are very much separated from each one another, but soon to be rendezvoused.
Yep, I believe, the best choice of attack right now is to try and meet up and try, cover each other's backs as they do go for a coordinated push. It is entirely possible, it's a 2v3, and, Yoshi and Cass are both capable members of Nutty Gaming, so I'm curious to see, what path of attack that they do choose to go for.
Yeah. Yoshi still has a Claymore, funnily enough, and two of her Lancers, so she could very much go for a rotation. But Toki has a different plan for that, and nearly loses her whole life to that peak by Yoshi, which unfortunately for Yoshi didn't really connect. So the next step is looking like they just might be pushing the armory stairs and the trophy, where Meeps is the one to potentially contest the first position.
10 seconds.
Cass still does have a drone in her pocket. However, these live pings are coming out. Meeps gets that headshot onto Cass, and it will be ticked off, finishing it up onto Yoshi. Yoshi not able to show us her true Kali powers today. The defenders, just had a really tight hold just then, and they had so much intel. I've seen those live pings come out as well, which definitely sealed the case for Nutty Gaming.
Yeah. Well, that's a solid start here for 71st. A very nice hold on the kid's bedroom has been done pretty well in a pretty confident manner. And we do get a rehost. Yeah, we're just gonna be getting to change things. We'll just need to get quickly a lobby change. And, well, hopefully we shall be able to sort things out a little bit. I'm curious whether the round will be counted, given that the game of Daddy Matty did freeze for us, and whether that was a change of whether that would change rather the scoreline between the teams. But look, for what it's worth, that was still pretty good defense from 71st, and I think if they just keep on doing that, if they just keep on essentially playing for that kind of, I suppose, a fallback strat, they could really work. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think I would actually like to commend Nutty Gaming for their attack at the start. I think I believe Yoshi was in spawn holding a drone or a camera for the people who pushed into tower. So that was really fast instant take onto the tier 2 of the tower, and they actually managed to open up the wall with relative ease. A lot of the times you would see someone tricking it, maybe a little bit of hesitation, maybe someone actually falling to their deaths to Toki, who was holding below. But none of that actually happened. It was a no death attic open, which is best case scenario. I do think, however, where Nutty failed was they didn't have enough flank coverage. A lot of their deaths did result from just, their backs being exposed to the defenders. Their claymores weren't able to be effective. Maybe they didn't have drones appropriately stationed so that the defenders were caught out. However, on the other hand, 71st definitely played it extremely well. They had all these, smart pushes from the smart flanks from the back. They were able to capitalize on all the intel they had, I suppose, through Toki's Valkyrie cameras, which is definitely a very advantageous hold you want. Not sure if the attacker's IQ managed to take down a few cameras of her own, but as it is, definitely well done by the 71st. It was a very smooth and flawless defense.
Yeah, yeah. Especially the attic hold was definitely something that was worth mentioning. It was really well held by Zero Prince, and she was able to really keep her position for quite a long while and keep things under control there, whilst the Valk of the team was able to get the flank. So, look, yeah, big props. Big props to 71st. But also gotta give it to Nutty Gaming. They've done a pretty valiant effort to get a good opening kill as well.
Yeah, I believe she actually won her fight against, the person who was holding the bottom right stairs. And a lot of the times, you would say shooting upwards definitely nets you the disadvantage. But, they pulled it off. They showed that it wasn't a disadvantage. It was actually an advantage.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see what will be, how will it go. Yeah, so just to update you guys, we just setting things up to get it on the way. Just got the ruling as well, so the first round will count, I believe. And yeah, so 71st will be continuing their game with a 1-point advantage, I believe. Now, with the way how this kind of first round went, what do you reckon for Nutty Gaming? What do they need to do to essentially get the wins within the rounds?
Well, I mean, from the get-go, it shows that they do have a form of attack. You know, they went for that instant addict take, which shows that they do know how to formulate an appropriate attack. However, I think their momentum stalled a little bit after gaining addict control. A lot of the times, the default thing to do is to go for an addict take, quickly rotate to masters, open up that masters wall, open up a cross angle. So maybe you can go for a plant either in games, or you can aggressively push addict, take control of kids, and maybe get a plant there. But that's not as likely because you do want to be playing big window for that. Normally a game's plant, but I didn't really see a lot of action on the master side. It was really, condensed into addict, which allowed, them to get C4'd, allowed them to get flanked, allowed them to get, picked on essentially, because they were just so clustered together. And, once that main force got taken down, there was very little options left for Nutty Gaming, where, they were just forced to travel as a pair, went out main stairs, and, unfortunately they weren't able to frag out because, again, the master wall wasn't open, so they only had very limited angles to work with as well. So, maybe just considering another path of attack, going for more walls to be opened could be something to consider.
Yeah, well, see if they will be able to figure that out for themselves. Maybe they shall hear it later on in the stream as well. But look, they still are at the moment just bringing in the Thermite, which I reckon maybe a reinforcement of, say, bringing in a Hibana or maybe even a Maverick would have been a decent idea, given the fact that, funnily enough, Ace and Melusi actually both have been banned, two operators that have been an absolute menace actually in the in LPL Pro and the Nationals. So with both of these operators out, certainly back to more so conventional ways of breaching the reinforced walls rather than just throwing loaves of bread at the wall. But
yeah, definitely if Nutty Gaming brought in a Hibana, that would have been so strong for their attack, especially on this basement attack. Because as I do see it, 71st didn't actually bring any sort of war denial. There's no mute jammers, there's no Kaid charges, there's no bandit charges. Every hard wall is a free-for-all for Cheesebender at this point, so it really just depends on which hatches, which walls she does want to take down. And if they had a Hibana with them, they wouldn't need to choose. They'd be able to open up anything they wanted.
Definitely. And looking at the utility as well, we really can't forget the fact that there's also the ability to bring in the secondary hard breach devices as well. So say if they would have brought somebody like even Monty, like Capitao, like Nook, I believe even Amaru as well.
Yep.
They could...
Lion?
And Lion, yes. Yep. Can't forget the probably the most hated operator probably in the community before he got nerfed. But yeah, all these operators have the ability to bring in the secondary hard breach, which could be a very powerful utility as well to utilize. So maybe further down the line we shall be seeing that happen, because for now so far it's a interesting push. Zero Prince actually won't be able to use the ADS to her advantage just because of the fact that it doesn't really hide that position. And well, oh Yoshi, perfect timing as well there for the peek onto Zero Prince.
Yeah, and that's one of the disadvantages of holding that blue bunker without any aggressive Jaeger ADSs. Because, those flashbangs, none of them actually got eaten up. I believe they all blinded Zero Prince. If at anything, they managed to startle her away. And because of that, they were able to get a pick onto Zero Prince as she was going to reinforce up that wall. But as it is, that elbow wall isn't reinforced either, which means this is not looking good for 71st. However, it is going to be Toki holding down that pillar position, gets that kill onto Nogovic, and that's the Nomad gone.
Yeah, with Nomad gone, things are certainly going to be a little bit tougher here for Nutty Gaming, given that there's no passive flank watch, and now they actually need to dedicate another person to go for it. Big props to Toki, though. She was able to do quite a few good things so far already with the Wamai peaks, as well as that Meeps. Been doing absolutely fantastic. A double kill, actually, for that matter, for her. And well, that's the full push of the Freezer completely gone. Now it's just the bunker representatives who are already just getting wiped out by Ticktoff and Meeps as well. And already with a minimal amount of HP, nothing can be done really here. Cheesebender just gets shut down.
So that was a spectacular start for Nutty Gaming, but I just think, I'm pretty sure that when members of Nutty Gaming died, they actually did still have drones in their pocket. I think a lot of it was just based on maybe early exhilaration of getting the first pick and of getting that elbow control. But they didn't utilize all their utility to the best potential in which they could have. It started off so well. They were using their flashes, they were using their Kali lances. They had a claymore down onto that pillar door, so there couldn't be any flank possible. So the only reason why they could have died is because they overpeaked and they didn't have the intel to back it up. Whereas if we look at members of 71st, they've had that consistent Valkyrie, and now they have a Maestro as well. That's so much intel available to them that they're appropriately using that Nutty isn't able to respond with.
From being defused by attackers.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, it's just it seems that the overabundance of the utility is seeming to be a little bit overwhelming here for Nutty Gaming, which may be a thing that they might need to work on further down the line, given that they are still playing with somewhat what feels like maybe at least partially just comfort picks for each one of them, because looking at their utility, there's not a whole lot of things to really work around. Cass's pick of Jackal is more so just an idea to maybe try to counter Ticktoff, who's been either Ticktoff or Toki, actually, who were roaming around the map for quite a substantial amount of time. And then the Ash plus the Thermite plus Kali is kind of just more so like a standard meta picks, I suppose, or rather just as easy of a picks, I probably would even say, just to kind of do the basic breaching jobs. And then the Nomad is an attempt to have that flank watch and rather not really need to dedicate the drones or the manpower to do it, and well, that really didn't work so far. So maybe say an introduction of heck, I would say probably maybe IQ, maybe another, like we've been talking about, another hard breacher to just make things a little bit easier for the general kind of breaching. Maybe even a shield operator could really do maybe a few good things here for the Nutty Gaming roster.
Yeah, Montang is incredibly strong. Right before those shields actually do get nerfed is the prime time to play shields, with that explosive resistance, definitely. As it is, Nutty have secured that Kid Storms, the upstairs area, to the bomb site. And that's incredibly strong because that entire floor is actually soft, which does mean that they should be able to open up the ceilings right above the defenders.
Correct. Well, we're already seeing a little bit of a gunfight happen as Yoshi did get downed. I'm curious if it was by Zero Prince, or rather was it... Oh, was I believe actually by Toki or Daddy Matty, who were trying to just hold a very nice long angle. There's already quite some vertical game already as well happening from up above thanks to Fallen Prestige. So right now this is a really good setup that Nutty Gaming has actually prepared for. They're going for multiple angles to really play around and see if they can just apply pressure and split the attention of the opposing team.
Yeah, but only taking a single Ash is definitely going to be a little bit tricky when it comes to the soft breaching, especially seeing as Toki is on the castle. Goyo's shield does get popped and Yoshi gets revived from the death and manages to get her own kill herself onto Zero Prince, and that's the Kali we're talking about.
Yeah, finally Yoshi's able to stop popping heads. There's still a castle sitting right behind that that brick couch, I suppose, and if that's the right way to really call it. Kaz gets down due to a pre-fire, whilst Yoshi actually got a nice double kill as well before getting traded out, but right now still a virtual, well, almost a 2v2, just about to be. There we go. TikTok does manage to get a finisher. Now all down to Novawick, because right now, well, 12 seconds remaining, and the push needs to happen on site.
Yeah, most definitely. The push does need to happen on site. That wall, however, is not vaultable, as which Nova finds out very quickly, and it is Daddy Maddie who manages to take down Novawick for that final kill. I think that was a really good attempt by the Thermite to open up that wall. It's a little trick that you can employ. If you Thermite charge from above, you are able to open up that dining wall. Even if there are mute jammers on it, even if there are bandit K charges onto it, it's like the way the destruction works in Siege travels downwards. But as it is, that wall that gets opened isn't vaultable. It's not really interactable much at all, apart from opening up sightlines where you can shoot off the jammers on that wall per se, so you can open up the wall next to it. Because ultimately you do want that wall to be either vaultable, walker through, or at least crawlable.
Yeah. You want at least to be able to utilize it a little bit more than just another way to really go in for the peaks, but all things considered, that was still a really good opening for Fnatic Gaming. They had a good position there. Yoshi did a phenomenal job there with the sniper rifle. So look, we'll have to see how further down the line it will traverse, because right now already, whilst being on a 3-point advantage, 71st looking at potentially a pretty quick game for themselves in their first debut in Season 3. Well, not first debut, but in their debut within this season, rather.
Yeah, definitely off to a strong start. Even if they don't get clean rounds in the subsequent rounds, to be 3 rounds up right now is definitely a huge advantage that you really want to be keeping in your pocket. Which is, I'm sure if I was a member on 71st, I'd be quite pleased right now. Focused on the future, but still quite pleased at this moment. Definitely not a time to let their guard down. Nut-E Gaming, on the other hand, they've had quite strong attacking pushes at the start. They've had these drones out, they've used their gadgets appropriately, but it feels like once the first thing gets done, whether a war gets opened, whether a pick gets taken, they lose their momentum and are not quite sure how to proceed.
Yeah, maybe here this could be also a bit of a difference as Tokyo just gets off that angle at just the worst possible moment, but maybe it's for the better, because Fallen Prestige now is completely clueless about whereabouts is the roamer, and right now if Toki does go for an aggressive play, she could actually find that shot, or even a C4 kill onto the Ash. But the timing is really bad here right now. Toki is able to get that kill scot-free, but right now Cass is now on the hunt. She knows that there is some presence in the kitchen, and so now she will be quite prepared for that gunfight, and nearly connects that shot.
Definitely not a fight you want to be pushing into blindly without intel. I do know that Cass still has 2 drones available out in the building for her to use. So you definitely want maybe place a drone there. Ask your dead buddy Fallen Prestige to keep an eye on it so that they can trade out their kills onto Toki. It is Zero Prince swinging aggressively with those bandit iron sights, might I add, getting a double kill. And that's that added presence all done and dusted. However, it is going to be Yoshi on the other side of the screen, taking down some kills with those lances, but Zero Prince, once again, diffuser secured, triple kill in her hands. She's having a great game today.
And she's definitely feeling it. Managed to get probably quite a fair bit of warm-up as well, because she is hitting those shots. The ones that I don't even think could have really connected, especially on that Nomad. The kill registered only after the bandit already peeked out, but Toki, to finish things off, will be granting 71st their 4th subsequent round. And, well, there we go. There's really not much to say apart from the fact that the 71st is certainly feeling it, and this is definitely one of their more so preferred maps, it seems, comparative to the gameplay of Nutty Gaming.
Yeah, Nutty Gaming looking to be in a little bit of a tricky situation at this point. Maybe something's not going right with their communication. Maybe they're moving too fast, and there's not enough intel to back it up. You definitely don't want to be misdroning at this stage in the game, because any kill that gets let up is a kill that should be instantly traded off, instantly refragged, and if it's not, then it's a free benefit at that point.
Attackers need to locate.
Correct, yes. Pretty much free real estate from there on. So look, right now, quite a whole lot of things need to really change for Nutty Gaming, especially with maybe some of their roster picks, but it seems that they are slowly making some of the changes. I like to see the fact that Kaz is occasionally dabbling around the IQ picks, same as Fallen Prestige, so maybe the fact that they are practicing kind of the operator flexibility could be a good indication, but again, this is still a bit of a rough patch here for the first match of Nutty Gaming, and given that,
5 seconds to insertion.
71st are so far looking definitely like the big dominant force, so maybe 71st could be also contesting for the playoffs bracket further down the line, but it's only the first day of the first week, so I suppose not a whole lot of conclusions are yet to be made.
Oh, I just wish that there could be an ADS on that bunker door, you know, an ADS that's more pushed up on that elbow around where Yoshi is, because, well, my magnets are relatively quite easy to deal with. All you really have to do is, you know, peek in as Yoshi did, or you just move in and, you know, throw one flash grenade and that's it. Whereas with a Jaeger ADS, it does manage to catch up to 3 projectiles, in which case, you know, Nutty Gaming playing it safe, still using their projectiles appropriately. Hopefully this time Zero Prince does manage to get that wall reinforced off, but ooh, what a trade coming out from Zero Prince, not managing to reinforce that wall, but does take down Yoshi with that headshot, and it is Meeps with that second kill onto Cheesebender. That very strong freezer presence at it once again.
Correct. Now with Toki being on Wamai, she is playing around the pillars where she last time was able to get rid of, or rather I think it was Meeps who was playing back then as a Wamai. Should still be able to hold the entrance from the bunker pretty well, but right now Novawick is actually going to have quite a whole lot of trouble because she is the only person playing here right now, and well, that means that she will have to wait for Fallen Prestige and Cast to really make a rotation around, but it seems that they are maybe attempting to go in for a breach over the hatch, but that is also not planning to really happen anytime soon because there's also ticked off on the road.
Yeah, ticked off is definitely very low. The correct thing to do now is to, definitely just U-turn, try and create as much distance as you can, because every second that you stall the attackers out is a second that works in your advantage. And it's a second that Novawick is standing there in bunker, not able to really do anything effectively, because again, you know, there's no one covering her, there's no one, you know, there with her that she's able to drone out. Cass is going for a rotation down to Novawick, I would assume, which is definitely the play you want to be taking. Fallen Prestige does have a very strong position down on those tower stairs. Just want to make sure that she doesn't die. However, it is ticked off with that flank onto Fallen Prestige, but Cass getting that headshot onto Meeps, that strong freezer presence is now gone.
Yeah, but surely the information has gone out, the fact that ticked off is now on the watchtower stairs, and Toki would still be hanging around actually the basement corridor. With Daddy Matty holding the rotation pole, should be able to make a really good crossfire here with the time now pressing up even more so. There's the crossfire beginning to happen. Daddy Matty finding one and Toki to find out the second frag onto Kaz. That is yet another 5th round in a row. 71st just going on an absolute roll here with a really good, pretty well organized defense minus that bunker hold.
Yeah, that bunker hold has always been a little bit shaky, so hopefully, you know, we do see something being shaken up onto the 71st side. I don't think they'll be holding it again anytime soon, but in the future, would be nice to see a more aggressive Jaeger ADS just to, you know, give your little smoker, your mute player down in elbow a little bit more of a fighting chance. You know, it's hard enough with the SMG 11 to hold it down pat against all these attackers with all their projectiles. You just, you know, come on, give her a helping hand.
Yeah, it's pretty much even if you want to just use that Jaeger position at that very position where they usually keep on putting it down, just moving back the ballistic shield so that there is that kind of a small area so that the ADS could eat up the grenades should really do the job, but alas, well, we won't really see it happen, given that this is the final round for the defense of 71st, unless we're going to go to the overtime. And, well, the dining hall is going to be there. I believe it's going to be just about the same setup as before. And we are going to be seeing a Goyo presence in the 90 hallway here on the ground floor, which should allow... I believe that's Peruvian. No, Goyo is the Mexican operator. Amaru is the Peruvian one. To actually hold a pretty decent position, including the fact that Zero Prince should be able to pop the Goyo shield in the shower should there be a push.
Yeah, as it is, it does look like there is going to be, perhaps a small tower, a, meeting... a kitchen-sided, dining-sided push. There is a little bit of alternate angles being taken up, all rounded by Nutty Gaming. I would assume, the logical play here is to secure that top floor to make sure that they do have all the, mobility that they can to roam around to possibly pressure Daddy Maddie, who is going to be on those Maestro cams, especially Fallen Prestige. If she's able to catch Daddy Maddie out on a drone, could definitely be an advantage. As it is, oh no, Zero Prince with that Goyo, getting that headshot onto Novawick, and once again, that's the Nomad taken down so early as well. I don't believe she's actually managed to get the chance to pull off any air jabs yet.
I don't think she did at all. Right now, Yoshi is going to be in a little bit of a pickle here, trying to find some shots here. Last time she was able to actually net herself a really nice frag. Actually, a really nice double frag for herself. So maybe she should be able to find a shot onto Zero Prince, who's actually pressing up very aggressively here. Finds one shot and will be falling back very promptly. And Yoshi decides to not really going for a push, or rather a counterplay, but will be finding a fantastic headshot there onto Zero Prince.
Yeah, Yoshi with that Kali sniper rifle is definitely not someone to be underestimated with, and it is going to be Cass who's holding down that green hole, which means any wrong movement down by Toki or down by Daddy Maddie could net Cass freebie in the back.
Yeah, right now it's all just 1v1 situations here. Yoshi finding the shot onto Tiktov should allow the plan to go down, as I don't think there will be actually any disruption whatsoever, and right now Cass could actually play for the disruption here. Yoshi does get taken down by Toki. There is a gunfight by Fallen Prestige as well that leaves her with barely any health, but right now the main player here is going to be Kaz, who's expecting a little bit of a flank, but both of the players are actually just playing on side, and Toki might actually try to just stick it.
It isn't even 2v2, so if Nutty do have the appropriate intel down, they will know that the diffuser is being diffused, and it is going to be 71st. Clean round once again, able to get that diffuser off, netting them the win. Nutty weren't, maybe they had no drones, maybe they weren't able to act fast enough, but they weren't managed to take down the castle before the bomb was diffused. And what a clean few rounds this has been, because now it's match point, and 71st haven't lost a single round so far, a clean 6-0 at this point. All they need is one more win on that attack, and that's a clean 7-0 win for the first game of this season.
Yeah, just like that. Laundry could be potentially the final place for the battle before this round and this, well, map really will conclude between these two teams. But yeah, look, that was probably one of the closer rounds that Nutty Gaming could have had, and well, for 71st, this is by far probably one of the better ones, but one of the better performances that they've had for quite a while. And well, a solid start for them to kick the season off.
Yeah, something a little bit different coming out from 71st as well. It is going to be the Maverick that's going to be taken up, which means there is going to be a double hard breacher in place. However, I believe a rehost should be coming right out. Yeah,
the rehost will be done and approved. Yeah, so we are going to be returning back to us just for a short bit, so you'll get to see our wonderful faces. Oh, yeah, that's a good night for the Goyo. But look, so far, I mean, a 6-0 scoreline is a little bit spooky here, gotta say, because Nutty Gaming had a few good attempts, a few good openings, but couldn't really get a hold of their, I suppose, final momentum for the round. Here, they might try to just play a very kind of passive, very turtle heavy strat to see if they can maybe get themselves back up and running, score wise. But I believe with the fact that they don't really have a whole lot of chances to really get any more mistakes, this is I would say almost impossible to really get any kind of advantage going for themselves, but I may be wrong here.
Yeah, definitely a 6-0 disadvantage is extremely hard to come out of. It isn't impossible. It has happened before, so I wouldn't quite yet discount Nutty Gaming, but they definitely do have to pull something spectacular out that we haven't seen yet in these past 6 rounds, because as it is going, if they play everything by the books, I don't think they have a really great shot at taking this even the first defender round away from 71st, because as it is, it does seem like 71st has quite a little bit of experience when it comes to dealing with default pushes, when it comes to holding these bomb sites. So for Nutty to possibly take the win out onto at least the first few rounds, they really need to do something surprising, maybe something that's not, a default hold with default operators, maybe go for aggressive swings, something that they haven't shown us yet that maybe they're capable of.
Yeah. It's either that, or at the very least, even if they will take an unfortunate L, at the very least, this will be a very good VOD material for them to really study. So, yeah, at the very least, there's some knowledge to be taken away from all of this matchup. So, it's not over yet. I mean, it's still only, like we said, a very first matchup of the season. So, mistakes can be made, and they won't really be as severe as, say, you lose a matchup in the playoffs. Yeah. So, for the time being, it's just learning grounds for both of the teams. I would imagine 71st are also exploring their kind of possibilities of how can they play out certain scenarios, certain rounds. So, for both of the teams right now, I would imagine that they would still be getting quite a whole lot of experience from all of this.
Yeah, it's exactly as you said, even if Nutty Gaming, don't manage to take down the first round and they do lose 7-0, sure, it's a loss in the stats, but it's not really a loss in the learning experience, because, there's so many reasons as to why maybe, their attacks weren't working, why their defense wasn't working. And it's something that they can always go back over, with their coach and try and pinpoint down some of these mistakes, so that the next time we do see them back again on stream, hopefully, they would have taken some of those criticisms to heart, and they would have, improved on that, which is definitely something that the Women's League, really actively encourages. It just encourages an overall learning experience with regards to maybe a sneak peek at the Siege competitive scene, which is something not a lot of people do get to experience.
Yeah, it's still a very, very unique experience here, even comparative to just general even rank experience. So yeah, here it's certainly quite a level up, and just a good kind of way to explore how you can up the game sense, I suppose, whilst playing at it.
Yeah, most definitely. These rounds do pass by a lot quicker than what they would in a ranked game or a casual game of Siege. So, for those who aren't really experienced to, especially making those operator picks, I know when I was playing a custom game with the Pro League rules, something that really took me by surprise was how fast you have to pick your operator. There's no time to alt-tab, there's no time to deliberate. You just got to pick them, because then the reveal phase happens, and then, the 6-pick phase, and that's when you can, look over your guns, your gadgets, or your whatnots. But you can't change your operator again, especially if someone else on the team has also alt-tabbed and they have a less desirable operator than you. So they take advantage when it comes to the 6-pick. And you're sitting there, possibly on an operator that you've never really played before. And you're like, well.
I think it's also the fact that there's also the introduction of that 6th pick is also a good way to kind of go for the mind games. Like you've mentioned that previously as well, that mind games behind those 6 pick could really be the make or break kind of deal, where you can sometimes just show that you're going for a very standardized kind of pick, but in reality, you going for some of the wilder decisions. Say, I don't know, a Ying pick to solidify a rush, or another hard breacher, so that way your opponent would be expecting a very slow standard round, whereas in reality, 30 seconds in, you're already on site.
Yeah, a lot of the times the six pick is definitely something that, I'm a huge fan of. That, honestly, I would be a fan of if they did release that, feature into ranked as well. Because there's so much counterplay that you can do when it comes to a six pick. I have noticed members of 71st, being very actively taking that castle. Castle is someone who you would normally six pick onto because his gadget does prove as a hindrance a lot of times to the attackers. Having that little barricade up in your face that you either have to melee 12 times or you soft breach out is definitely quite annoying to deal with, especially if you don't have the right attacker, lineup to go around it. If you six pick onto the castle, no one knows that he's there, and maybe they don't take a Sophia, maybe they don't take soft breaching charges, maybe they don't even have an Ashe if they're going for, 3 hard breaches. And that just means that one of the hard breaches will have to sacrifice their gadget onto the castle barricade, which is a lot of the times something as a hard breacher that you would be very annoyed at.
Yeah. Whenever there is a lack of certain utility, it's certainly quite a bit of a tilting experience, I suppose. Funnily enough, here's the thing that we were talking about early on into the match. 71st actually bringing in a dual hard breach, contrary to what Nutty Gaming were doing, where this time they will have Maverick and Thermite, so that decision as to where do they want to breach will no longer be there, given that now they have 2 of those operators to do that very breaching. So now the main question is, how are they going to approach rather opening up all those walls, and whether there will be any kind of attempt at physical denial by Nutty Gaming, because from the first looks there's no way of denying the actual breach unless they go for a full-blown swing and get the frags onto the breaches before they make any changes.
Yeah, and that's always a very, quite aggressive tactic, and it doesn't always pay off because it could mean that you're trading your life for, potentially nothing. So it'd be interesting to see how this does play out. As it is, with that Maverick and with that Thermite, it does mean that they'll be able to open up their hatches. However, that laundry hatch, I really hope this isn't a misplay out from Yoshi. Quickly run up the stairs and reinforce that hatch, because you want to. That could save the site from being taken over. Luckily, no one is pre-throwing down that main lobby door. Maybe no cams, maybe, they're taking it slow on the attack, which definitely is an advantage for Yoshi, because it does mean that she's able to get away with that reinforcement. And this is something interesting. A double shield hold in that bunker.
Not only it's a double shield hold, it's a double shield plus the ADS, so there's a single ADS per shield as well. So not only Cheesebender will have essentially yet another one more position to really go back to before having to fully reinforce that wall, she will also have another set of ADS to really drain out the utility. So this is certainly looking like it could be a very good way about it. But here's the funny thing. 71st actually opted out of pushing the bunker, at least in the conventional way, and rather could just go around it, but there's Fallen Prestige managing to get rid of TikTok, so that is the IQ gone off board, and now Meeps' attention has been diverted to going for the Roam Hunt.
Yeah, Meeps is definitely in a tricky situation right now. As it was, you had a great push with your IQ. You could do a push that, covered each other's backs, but Fallen Prestige just had to come across and take down TikTok like that, which means there's so much hidden pressure now, especially with Yoshi, rotating down, trying to get that tower aggression down. Possibly looking for a big tower push. These pings do come out. Fallen Prestige with a second double kill onto Meeps, and that is going to be that duo flankers cut out from position. Sledge and IQ no more, Is it going to be the Maverick falling as well? Yes, Yoshi gets that kill onto Toki. Can she get a double kill onto Zero Prince as well? She's ready, but she's not able to, and Zero Prince gets that headshot onto Yoshi, which is huge, because it does mean all that pressure off their backs is going to be taken off.
Yeah, ooh, Novawick is just about to get the frag, but no! Zero Prince is actually just going in huge, but will get pretty quickly traded out by Kaz. It's all down to Daddy Matty, the Thermite player of 71st, who pretty much is the last person remaining, in hopes of maybe getting the play and maybe going for that, I suppose, the oh god, the flawless game. But that is a double air jab, which should most definitely now tell Daddy Matty that there is a flank incoming. If the first one didn't already signify that. But well, Daddy Matty gonna go in for the swing. That was actually able to get the drop onto Cheesebender, but the time is running low. The plant needs to go down right now, and Fallen Prestige is actually going to see the body of the Thermite, and we'll just come around, and well, there's the pre-fire, there's the kill. No dream of the flawless game.
Yeah, and that was exactly what I wanted to see out of Nutty Gaming. All of their pushes, were so aggressive. They had Fallen Prestige holding that, one-man roam like that, and she was able to actually capitalize off it. Normally, I'm all about saying duo roams, you need to watch each other's backs, you need to be at least within 1 to 2 rooms of each other, because if one roamer does fall, like perhaps if Fallen Prestige did die to the IQ in that case, there would have been someone to maybe refrag off of that. However, if you're as confident as Fallen Prestige, why not just go for the double kill?
Yeah. Fallen Prestige did a fantastic job there with her roaming, being able to just confirm a frag after frag, and her position, the beauty of how she played her position, it was the fact that it was so far away from the side that at this point I would imagine that 71st would have been thinking, surely there's going to be nobody that far away from the side, and rather all alone without any kind of utility or reinforcement. So props to her, props to Fallen Prestige for making it work, and yet another round. Now only a 5-round differential, which is still quite a hefty task for Nutty Gaming to perform, but the first step, baby steps here for them to maybe try to ramp up a comeback.
Yeah, and this is, what we're looking forward to. This is Nutty Gaming second try at a defense onto that kid site, so I really want to be seeing some similar things that they pulled out for that basement defense. I want to see some aggressive roams, some aggressive flanks, and, a really good hold down onto site by them as well.
Yeah, well, let's have a look how will this offense really come around, because there is still, once again, Yoshi is this time the big wildcard player sitting around in the small tower, which could actually catch Ticktoff once again, which would be a fantastic opportunity. But apart from that, really, she's just waiting for the moment to really go in for the push, whereas Ticktoff is going to be instead just peeking through the roof, which should be a pretty neato idea. Actually, matter of fact, completely ignoring any kind of idea of even droning out the small tower, as maybe it's just about the same. Hold up a sec.
No way.
No way, she actually just flat out knifed her. Oh no. Well, that introduces an issue for the 71st, because now that they know that there's a presence in the watchtower, and right now, well, they're faced with either the fact of trying to just keep on pushing, or they need to go in for a roam clear, which means dedicating time and dedicating some more player power to try to get anything going for themselves, because there's also a potential run out here that could be ramped up by Yoshi, but she just promptly falls back after trying to cause some ruckus with the sound.
And this is something that I would like to call, playing the map, which is you have the whole map to play with as a defender. That doesn't mean you need to stay cooped up onto site, cooped up in some safe position all the way at the start of the round, You can go for some aggressive takes, you can go for a T3 tower take and possibly get a kill like that, because it's just highly effective. And worst case, you just fall back. You just run with your tail between your legs and you run all the way back to site if it's that bad. But all that early advantage is definitely going to be in your favor, especially if you get a kill. And it is going to be Daddy Matty taking a vault into that attic, a little bit aggressive. It's one way to take an attic control without opening up the breach wall, I will admit.
Yeah, just jump in. Oh, does spot the Kaid, who only just tags up the Thermite player, and a little bit of a odd gunfight is going to be occurring. Ticked off, meanwhile, is, well, seeming to be quite ticked off about the fact that she couldn't really win out the previous round. Goes already on a triple kill, but there's still the presence in the attic. Finally gets neutralized, all down to Fallen Prestige, who's actually going for quite a long flank around and could actually catch the IQ player off guard if she does decide to do so. But instead, it's just a rotation right into the kid's bedroom, where Toki should be able to watch out for her teammate, and the plant needs to happen on the double, where it's going to be done right in the corner. Toki watching the angle, where could Fallen Prestige really go for, and right now with the timer gone, now it's the time now playing against the defense.
This is super unfortunate. If Fallen Prestige did have a Valcam onto site, those pings could have come out and she could have been able to C4 from below, which is something they definitely missed an opportunity for. As it is, it's going to be a really hard take from Fallen Prestige, because Toki and TikTok both have these, tight angles being taken down. Fallen Prestige is checking, those common angles, trying to see if there is a member of Nutty Gaming. Doesn't get that shot onto Toki, and Toki, finishes off Fallen Prestige, and that is going to be a GG towards 71st's behalf.
Yeah, there we go. Only one round break of their streak was really all that was really needed for 71st to really make the change here. And well, they are going to be coming out victorious, 7-1 scoreline. Unfortunately, the KD ratio that you can see here is only representing the KD after the rehost, but nonetheless, still big props to Nutty Gaming as well for putting up a grand fight against the 71st, but 71st just were a little bit too dominant here, and well, will be securing themselves the quick dub.
I think regardless of everything that was happening, I definitely think Nutty Gaming, really stepped up their game as the rounds progressed. First few rounds were a little bit shaky coming out of them, especially, those attacker coordination. It can be quite tricky, as a new team or working with people who you're not accustomed to pull off such a flawless attack is incredibly difficult, and that is when the defender advantage does come in play. But, they really tightened their act up by the end of it, especially, those two defense rounds that they were showing us. It was, dare I say, an almost new side of Nutty Gaming. They were aggressive, they had the intel, they had the roam, and possibly if they had more defender rounds to play around with, maybe this game could have turned another way. But as it is, 71st definitely showed us a really strong start straight off the bat. They had all those appropriate roams, they used their gadgets, and they had some great kills as well.
Exactly. Well, that does conclude the very first matchup within the first day of Season 3 of Women's League. We still have one more matchup that is going to be, I believe, Berries, Bees versus Nocturnal, which is going to be a bit of an interesting one, given that Nocturnal is technically one of those returning rosters that used to actually dabble around in some of the higher-end rosters. We will have a look at those in a few more moments, but for now, we are going to go on a short little break just to get everything set up, get everything prepared, and we shall see you all in just a short few moments. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in just a short set of minutes.
I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way to save them. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way to save them. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way. I don't
think that you should come back home.
You should know better than to write me off. Consider this a teaching moment.
Alrighty, hello and welcome everyone back to the second matchup of day one of season 3. Cthulhu and Pi still on the microphone. And Pi, I mean, so far we had the pretty dominant performance from 71st, don't you think?
Yeah, I definitely think so. At the start, I incorrectly predicted that this game could go either way. I would say I don't have a lot of, understanding of either team. I don't really know, if their players have improved or if they have new things up their sleeves. And after that amazing first match, I can definitely say, 71st, they're a team to keep your eyes on, because they've definitely shown us a really strong start straight off the bat. We didn't really get to see this strong performance coming out of 71st in season 2. It's definitely not something as one-sided as a 7-0. So I'm quite keen to see 71st face off against other teams to see if that performance can be replicated, because if it can, it could make them a very strong contender in this entire season.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be quite curious to see how far would 71st will be able to progress, because they showed a pretty dominant performance. Their gunfights were pretty on point for the most of it. So yeah, it should be a very interesting progression to watch. But for the time being, we shall be slowly almost there, getting to the second matchup. Before we get into all the nitty gritty, do have to also give a bit of a announcement, I suppose, or rather, a shout out about the Pink October that XP Esports will be running throughout most of the leagues as well. From now till October 1st, we are aiming to raise $3,000 for the Cancer Council, and the donation link is on your screens, as well as I believe it shall be shown in the Twitch chat as well. But a good cause for such a good cause to really work towards. And look, gotta support fellow gamers.
Yeah, and I mean, we're wearing the color pink. You too can wear the color pink. And if you're going that far, at least, you might as well donate towards a cancer council, because it is going to be a very noteworthy cause, and it is something that, is a serious issue. So, if you're going to throw your money at something, this is definitely the thing to do so.
Definitely. Well, let's have a look at our updated schedule for tonight, as we already just seen the first match conclude. We just witnessed 71st, like we mentioned before, have a 7-1 absolutely smashing matchup for themselves against Nutty Gaming. And up next is going to be Nocturnal versus Barry's Bees. So we'll have to see how will they perform. A few very noteworthy names as well that will be coming around. But that is, I gotta say, Nocturnal has a very... how should I say, a peculiar logo, to say the truth.
I was just about to point that out. I was like, all the other teams, not to throw any shade on Nocturnal, obviously, but, all these teams have very, how do I word it?
Digitalized.
Professionally created icons. Whereas Nocturnal, it's...
Hey, look, maybe it's one of those graphics that is... maybe it's one of those kind of things to just ensue the fear into their opponents from the get-go. Like the moment they see the logo, it's like, oh god, not Nocturnal.
I especially love the little nose with its little nostrils, just right there.
That is all of it is just, it's a very interesting exposition. But talking about the interesting expositions, let's also have a look at the rosters that we shall be seeing. Nocturnal, a few of the familiar faces making a return here. Aussie, Serenity, Crescent, AJ Tiger, Sav, and then the sub of Intrastrus, and then Archon as the team coach.
Yeah, some of these players definitely are familiar, like they were, they did pop up in Season 2. Most notably, they were part of, I believe, Elevate. Yes, Elevate. Who was actually the winning team of Season 2 XP Esports. So, these members are definitely someone to keep an eye on, especially, Aussie, Serenity. Crescent was the sub, but she was also a member of Elevate, as well as Sav. They were the players that we did get to see. So I'm curious to see, again, their teamwork, their synergy, and their strategy, and to see if it can be replicated in Season 3.
Yeah, noteworthy as well to mention is the reappearance of Sav as well, the person who was able to play some very old picks, say Thatcher or Thermite, and then proceed to be the top fragger as well, back when Elevate were playing in the previous season. So, I'm curious how will it really come around here. But look, let's have a look at the team that will be contesting them. That is going to be Barry's Bees. Going Walkabouts, Hodo, Small Chaza, Downfall here, Dev's Not Telly, Weird One, Heart Explodes as a sub, and Striner as a team coach. Making an appearance. Any kind of thoughts about that roster, Pi?
Yeah, well, once again, these members, most of them have been, players in Season 2. Gorn Walkabouts, Hodo, and Chaza, as well as Heart Explodes was also present last season, just on a different team, as well as Weird One was also on another team. So it's good to see, a few familiar faces re-emerge out, despite under a different team name. They definitely do have a hard battle ahead of them. Who they're versing is majority made out of the ex-winners of Season 2. So to, have their first matchup be against them is definitely not a position that I envy them for. So, hopefully I see, hopefully, they come out guns blazing, strategies ready to push out instantly, because against members of the ex-winners, it's definitely not going to be an easy fight.
Yeah, quite a challenge is planned for them in the next, say, hour and a half, maybe. But let's also take a look where that challenge is going to be taking place. Let's have a look at the vetoes, the wonderful vetoes, and, well, Deja Vu is apparently chasing us here because we are going back to the Oregon, where I believe actually it is going to be played out. So Barry's Bees are going to be beginning on the defense here for themselves, whilst Gon's Gon Walkabouts in chat saying that she's in Spain, but the S is silent. Thank you very much. But look, yeah, this is still going to be quite a challenging run here for Barry's Bees, but we'll have to see whether they will be able to give us another kind of a surprising performance like 71st just gave us, because for what it's worth, I would be pretty much expecting everything to happen here.
Yeah, as we seen on the first map that was being played, it was definitely in the advantage of the defenders. So I'm curious, to see if this performance will be replicated in game number 2, to see if, maybe Oregon is just incredibly defender-sided. Maybe we will get a glimpse at a successful attack coming out from Nocturnal, which could give us, another eye onto the map, and to see how, to see what a successful attack should look like, to see what the momentum should be, and to see how they counteract maybe a fully fledged out defense setup.
Yeah. Well, both of the teams are ready. Good luck, have fun has been coming out, and let's get a quick look at the we'll have more luck at the Oregon in a little bit. Give me a moment. And actually, Pi, here's a question for you from the players.
Oh,
who do you reckon have the better logo out of the two teams?
and then Barry's Bees and Nocturnal.
Yeah, between Barry's Bees and Nocturnal, yeah.
I mean, what's the criteria? It's saying which logo is better is purely subjective, right? Like, there's going to be factors for font, the color scheme, the placement of objects, the overall aesthetic. As you can tell, I'm just stalling. You know what? I am a fan of Nocturnal's logo. I know I said some things about it, but I really just admire the rough handiwork of Nocturnal.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna say similar. Like I'm gonna give it to Barry's Bees. They went for a pretty nice and somewhat simplistic decision in the logo department. But yeah, the Nocturnal logo is
it's really something
special. Yeah, it's really quite something. So yeah, I think I might cast my vote towards the better logo between these two teams too, the Nocturnal one. But hey, that doesn't mean that I give them all the bias for their performance. It's literally just for the logo. Because right now, I mean, we've seen a whole lot of times when some of the teams decide to mix and match different players from different teams. Sometimes it just doesn't work, even though you have a phenomenal roster of just star players. It's just sometimes people don't gel together. So yeah, just look, poor Hado just got denied, so a bit of a heartbreak there. But look, back to Oregon. It's Nocturnal who are attacking, who are theoretically are a slightly more powerful roster. Do you reckon we might be seeing a somewhat of a similar scoreline comparative to the 71st versus 71st versus
Nutty?
the Nutty? Yes. For some reason, it just fell out of my head. the name as well. Oh god.
I agree with you. I definitely think Nocturnal do have the advantage in this case, purely because they are a roster that is made up of incredibly strong players that we've seen cement themselves in the leaderboard of XP Esports. But Barry's Bees at this point, they do have a very interesting operator lineup, especially with that Pulse. Pulse we've seen a few times, not just in XP Esports, but in Siege competitions all around. Pulse can be incredibly devastating if he's played correctly, especially with his C4s, with even the intel that he provides just from looking through walls with his Pulse tracker. And I don't see an IQ out from Nocturnal's side, which means that they won't know when the Pulse is creepily looking at them, whether it be through the floors, through the walls, the reinforced walls as well. So if Gorn Walkabouts plays this right, it could be anyone's game at this point.
I'll definitely have to agree with you. Another thing that we also have to keep an eye out is the fact that the ban phase has been a completely different one here for the second, I suppose, an iteration of Oregon, where we're actually going to be seeing how powerful the Thatcher Ace combination could get, because, well, both of these operators are very much available, and right now, maybe they're going to be starting to cause some initial ruckus. Interestingly enough, Weird One and Gone Walkabouts are actually going to be playing in the meeting hall, where they could maybe potentially go for a C4 play through the hatch and through the entryway of the attic from the watchtower. But it seems that for now it's just a little bit of a stalling point as Crescent. Just waiting for Thatcher to really make a rotation around, as Serenity is actually on the opposite side of the building and just waiting for when do they want to go in for the peak. Sav going for a few openings, but nothing too major as right now. I believe that was just that's just the Ash charge to get rid of the Kaid from down below.
Yeah, possibly a little bit of a miscommunication out from Nocturnal. Definitely not the start they want to be going off on, because that is half the rounds already gone by. EMP does go out, and I assume Crescent's Ace charges do go off. So that is Attic going to be opened up, and that's one of the strengths of Ace. You don't need to hang around for your gadget to be deployed. I will admit, possibly I was looking for a little bit more of a meeting presence. Maybe Aussie going in with her impacts to try and clear the electrified wall from below, which definitely could have played poorly into Nocturnal's hands, because there was a lot of meeting presence out from Barry's Bees. As it is, that attic space looks largely uncontested. So if Nocturnal can throw a few drones out and get some understanding on exactly how many members of Barry's Bees are playing in there, this could be quite a number of, quite a large amount of free ground for them to cover.
Well, it's talking about a free ground right now. A whole lot of it will be just chipped away from the defense of Barry's Bees. And oh, Sav! Oh no! Sav is completely oblivious. There's the kill onto Serenity. There's the kill. There's the double one as well. As just Small Chaser is being gifted that double kill. And well, now we're back to a 3v3. But oh my sweet goodness, how was that even allowed to happen?
That was some intense trigger control out from a Small Chaser. If I was Small Chaser, I definitely would have shot instantly. Hodo getting that headshot onto Aussie, who was holding the big window, which means that's one less place to clear out. The diffuser has gone down, and then the defenders do have 30 seconds to go for. C4 comes out of Hodo, but doesn't quite connect with anyone, and they do need to recontest this game site so that they can get the bomb down. It is going to be Crescent with that double kill, make that a triple kill onto Gorn Walkabouts, and suddenly it's all up to Weird One to clutch this out.
Weird One just about to walk into the sights of Crescent as well, making it a quad kill here for the Ace player, and that was that was a bit of a spicy run there, which could have gone really bad there for Nocturnal, but alas, that didn't happen. So, well, Nocturnal will be resting easy at least after the first round.
That round was definitely closer than what I expected, considering the amount of presence that Nocturnal had secured. They had Attic open, they had the Master Walk-in open, they even had the bomb down, but their numbers fell so fast, especially with Small Chaser holding in that trophy room. Oh my gosh, able to get 2 shotgun kills off, especially, into Sav, that unsuspecting Ash player who just whisked right by without knowing.
Yeah, that was, I am a little bit speechless. Yeah, that probably will be one of the ways to describe how I feel, because the fact that neither Chaza nor Sav knew about each one another's position was just absolutely phenomenal. Probably is one of the ways to describe it. But look, for what it's worth, Nocturnal were able to make a comeback there after all of the hiccups that did occur. And now we are on to the laundry defense. It seems that Barry's Bees are not really intending to retry the site, given how quick that round ended, and how abruptly rather it turned out. So here, a choice of clash could be not a bad decision per se, just because she could actually hold the bunker, or rather assist with holding it for much longer.
Yeah, having a clash pick down onto that bunker site definitely isn't something that it's definitely something that is seen quite often. However, Aussie on that Sophia is definitely something to be scared about if you're the clash player, because it does mean you can get easily concussed, and Serenity gets that first kill on Tihoto. It is going to be the Kaid player down, and it's all up to the clash holding down that bunker site. Quite stressed if I were her. I do want to point out once again, I didn't see a lot of Jaeger ADSs down on that bunker wall, which does mean that all those EMPs are able to fly through without a lot of punishment, essentially. And Small Chaser doesn't even have her deployable shield left, so if I were her, better retreat, reinforce that wall, and tell my Clash player to pack up and get out.
It seems that Gone Walkabout is not actually really intending to stay around for too long, although that is quite a whole lot of pressure being applied. Another impact grenade is there, and finally the Clash player will be finished off. Now in a 3v5, things might get escalated a little bit more for Barry's Bees. They managed to hold things off for a little bit longer. Weird One does manage to also finish off Sav, but in a 2v4 situation with not as much health as you probably would have wanted it to be, things are certainly going to be quite rough.
Serenity getting her own little triple kill. Very nice few shots down pat. A Weird One is so low on health already, and she has 4 members of Nocturnal to deal with. They're starting to really spread their presence out all over that basement site, so it is up to Weird One to potentially also deny the plant. Jaeger doesn't have any C4, so she will need to rely purely on her gun. She does have a barbed wire in her pocket, but I don't think that's going to help much, and it is going to be Tiger X taking that final kill down onto Weird One.
Yeah, that was a much better organized round there for Nocturnal, as they are going to be taking yet another round for themselves. Certainly looking like maybe history of the first match could repeat itself here, but still yet remains to be seen, given that it's only been 2 rounds. Honestly, the way how the setup's been happening for Barry's Bees, I don't think they are doing anything wrong. It's more so just the timing and the solo player's decision making that is at the moment a little bit hurting the general kind of composition, I suppose, of Barry's Bees. And obviously, yeah, the gunfight skills are certainly it appears to be a little bit of a skill gap on a few occasions, but not obviously not all the time.
Yeah, I would definitely want to point out that I believe the biggest reason why, I definitely think that Barry's Bees had a stronger hold onto that kids' dorm site as compared to their basement site, purely because of their setup. Their setup was a lot well formulated for, this kids' dorm site. They have the correct operators, they have the vertical presence through that pulse. Whereas for their basement site, they lost their bunker extremely quickly. There wasn't a lot of Jaeger ADSs to help prevent that clash from being concussed, because as it is, they didn't really have to burn through anything to get those EMP concussors out. And normally, you want to be burning some flashes, some smoke grenades even, to try and get those actually powerful projectiles in. But as it is, Nocturnal did have quite an easy time just pushing through bunker, opening up the walls, and getting that plant down, whereas Barry's Bees didn't look like they knew how to respond to that.
Well, now they are going to be actually fully stacking the watchtower, actually, in an attempt to maybe hunt down Gone Walkabout, who has been attempting to play a very similar role here. But right now, Sav could really catch her off guard. A little bit missing on the timing, but that just spooks off Gone Walkabouts completely, to the point where she's forced to now fall back to the bottom floor. But maybe she could go for yet another circle here and just come around from down below, and could maybe surprise a few of the Nocturnal players.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. I don't see a lot of strong claymores, maybe air jabs down onto that basement tower stairs. Pulse scanner does come out, so Gone Walkabout does know that there are members of Nocturnal oh so close. She whips out that scanner once more, does notice that members of Nocturnal have relocated. Those pings do come out, and they do have that intel that members of Nocturnal have rotated out of tower.
Yeah, well, right now, Golden Walkabout's feeling a little bit unsure as to where does she want to push, because right now Small Chazzy is already being pressured at the trophy. This time, though, she won't get that free 2k that she did get previously on the kids' defense, and instead Serenity is already actually holding the angle right into the games room, so the walk-in closet wall has been wide open, and right now this is a perfect opportunity here for Gone Walkabouts to go for a C4 play from down below, but unfortunately for her, Serenity already droned her out, so there's full knowledge that there might be a play from down below, so they are going to be very wary about the position. And well, Small Chazza's position has been droned out as well.
Small Chaz are in the same position she was last time when she did manage to get that surprise kill onto Sav. This time, however, Sav drones her out properly and is managed to get that kill onto Small Chaza, so it is going to be the smoke takedown, as well as the downfall here is going to be taken down as well. But Hodo managed to get that refrag onto Sav, evens out the numbers a little bit, so now it's just a, oh no, I was just going to say, it's now it's a 3v2. Hodo with that double kill has managed to even out the odds, and that's a superb effort out from her.
Yeah, but Aussie is there to keep up the flank watch as well. All down to Gone Walkabouts, who's currently just being flopped around by all the air jabs. And right now, with the timer, diffuser needs to be planted. Crescent Wall, very last moment, will be sticking the diffuser. And right now, Gone Walkabouts, even if she downs just the diffuser planter, could have been taken down pretty quickly, but just a little bit out of time. At the worst possible timing, well, AJ Tiger will be getting rid of her.
That round was definitely a little close for comfort for Nocturnal. That plant going down quite in the nick of time. It really would be a shame if you went through all that effort of attacking the round, claiming the objective, and just not being able to place down that bomb because the timer ran out. Thankfully, it was slapped down on the ground, so that's all good. As it is, that was an excellent attack coming out of Nocturnal. They really show that they adapted from the first time they attacked the kids' dorm site, and they were able to, almost react to how Barry's Bees were going to be holding it.
Exactly. Well, Barry's Bees will be getting another attempt at the defense, even though whilst being on a 3-point disadvantage. And, well, it's a dining and kitchen hold, contrary to what usually is believed that the dining is a very difficult site to really hold, comparative to, say, even meeting, but we shall be seeing yet another attempt here. A little bit of a oopsie being done is weird one. We'll be missing out on that HP further down the line, but looking at the general setup of the utility, look, they have the castle, they have the ADSs, they have the Melusi, who was banned out in the previous match, so they should have all the utility to really slow down the attackers just enough to make it so that the gunfights will be in their favor, but still yet remains to be seen.
I would like to see a little bit of a vertical presence come out from Barry's Bees because, as it is, the kitchen and dining site is a hard site to hold as defenders, only if you hold it incorrectly. And to hold it incorrectly would be to anchor on site, because you definitely need that vertical presence out in perhaps, bunks, maybe a very aggressive hold in that small tower. However, that is incredibly risky, that I don't see a lot of people doing for the right reasons. But you definitely want to have that vertical presence, because otherwise, all that soft breacher out from Nocturnal side, the Sophia, the Sav on the Ash, and perhaps even the Nomad if she's brought the breaching charges in, will pretty much wreck all the defenders who are holding on site.
Yeah, well, we do actually see some more breaching charges actually from Aussie as well, so she would be able to back things up straight away. There we go, already plenty of floors being destroyed here by those charges, and that's already that very position where previously we saw a few castle players hold, actually is now being completely negated from up above. So also another fun thing to really point out is actually Crescent is actually going for opening both the showers and the main wall, so Once the EMP goes off, there's the pop, and I believe, yeah, both the loafs will be used up. Sav, ready, cutting off the rotation, getting rid of Gone Walkabouts will be a very huge first frag.
Yeah, and this shows that Nocturnal do know how to attack the site appropriately. They've maintained that, vertical presence in the small tower. They've opened up the walls into dining, and they even have the rotation all cut off. And it is going to be Crescent taking down that second kill onto Small Chaza, and that's pretty much the dining site secured for members of Nocturnal. So if they wanted to go for a secured plant, at this point, it's entirely possible.
Weird One is currently playing offside, which could potentially allow her to get the drop onto Sav, which should ensure that there will be no more flanking positions or opportunities. But this is a very unfortunate moment. Crescent has been already granted a very safe entry route onto side and a plant, and already, unfortunately, the bad timing is going to be still plaguing the defense of Barry's Bees, and right now, maybe Weird One could find a shot onto Sav, but right now Sav is very much expecting that swing and will be coming out of that firefight quite victorious. Downfall here, well, probably going to be living up to her name in just a short few moments because so many angles that she needs to contest, it is borderline impossible to really win in that position. And well, a flawless round here for Nocturnal once again.
That was such a clean take from Nocturnal. I definitely want to say that they did deserve that flawless round. They went in with such a fast executed attack. It really shows that they've practiced how to go about, all of the sites, not just the most default kids and dorms and basement sites. They do know how to do the surprising ones, such as the the dining and the kitchen site. Because, if we looked at it, there was almost no hesitation. They secured Small Tower, they got the walls open, they had the rotations cut off, and they smoked it off, and they planted it, and they covered all the angles. There wasn't any, aggressive pushes, there wasn't any missed drones, there wasn't anything that was played wrong, essentially. It was just perfect by all rounds.
Yeah, fully stratted up, fully prepared for pretty much all of the unusual things that Barry's Bees could have thrown back at them. And, well, yeah, that was a really well-prepared thing. Possibly it's due to the fact that maybe Nocturnal are also preparing a similar defense once they will go in the second half, and it could potentially just be the fact that they essentially played for counter-stratting themselves. But, yeah, we'll have to see whether that is the case further down the line, because for now it is round 5, the second to last round before the switch of the sides, and second to last chance really for Barry's Bees to really make any changes or really any big plays. Funnily enough, Small Chaza is actually going to be playing with the 2 ADSs now being positioned right in the corridor to the far wall of the bunker, which should allow her to hold her position for slightly longer. But last time we saw some of these setups, they were just essentially swung upon and shot out.
Yeah, it is the first time that we do see those Jaeger ADSs being placed onto that elbow wall, which is exactly what, you definitely want to be seeing. However, Serenity is on that Thatcher, and one EMP grenade correctly placed is going to take down both of those ADSs, temporarily, yes, but the Ash Charge is going to go through, which means that it's going to take down that deployable shield, and Small Chaza takes a bit of health as well in punishment for that. I don't believe she's able to get that reinforcement off onto Elbow either, and the pillar player, Gone Walkabouts, gets down too, which means it's a lesion, which means no more rechargeable mines up for Barry's Bees. It's an incredibly risky position to go off for the res, and Sav on that tower placement is going to finish off Gone Walkabouts.
Yeah, now Small Chaza has managed to really make a rotation here to the pillar side, so maybe she could catch Sav off guard, but right now Sav is just a little bit snappier there on her aim. Gets that frag. So now she has full control of the main hallway of the laundry, so from here on, it's, I would imagine, AJ Tiger who will be holding the main hallway, whereas Sav and Co will be attempting to go in for the breaches. Downfall here, though, will not be allowing any further progression, at least just yet, whilst the push will be commencing. A push towards the planter will be commencing, and AG Tiger actually gets a double kill here, whips out the pistol in hopes of maybe finding Hotto, but Hotto is able to bite back here, finds one of the frags onto Serenity. 1v3 situation, but the health disadvantage is there in a huge manner, and well, Tiger will be finishing it all off with a triple.
Yeah, beautiful kills coming out of Tiger. Unfortunately, those were some dead bodies that the Melusi was shooting at. It's a common mistake. Dead bodies do look like prone bodies, but in that case, it was not the thing that you wanted to be shooting at. And as it is going to be Nocturnal with a clean 5-0 at this point. This is going to be the last possible round for, Barry's Bees on that defense. So hopefully they make it count and, really show us what they're made out of. A little interesting Frost pick does come out of Small Chazza. Is that going to be a 6 pick, or is she going to commit to it? No, it's actually going to be Gorn Walkabout's going for a 6 pick, which is, I don't think it's something Nocturnal will be expecting. As an attacking team, you see that Frost pick, you'd be like, oh, yeah, they're going to swap off it. But no, it sticks.
Yeah, I reckon a Frost pick as one of those unexpected choices is certainly going to introduce a little bit of a wild card addition to the play, which could really catch some of the attackers off guard, given that, well, Frost Traps are not being affected by the Jaeger, or not Jaeger, by the Thatcher EMPs. So maybe those could find a few frags, or rather downs. So yeah, we'll have to have a look in just a short few moments. But for now, look, I mean, Nocturnal, so far, looking at potentially scoring themselves that clean win, at least in the first half.
I am a little bit interested about the electrical walls that Gorn Walkabouts is reinforcing. I seen Small Chazza go in with that Frost Deployable Shield, and she actually placed that shield down onto pillars. And a lot of the times when you do see a shield being placed on pillars like that, it does mean that they are going to open up at least half of the walls on electrical, which means, you can have a really extended long angle all the way from the pillars player down to where Serenity is droning at this point. And, especially with that deployable shield that's able to protect 90% of your body, it's quite a strong angle to hold. But as it is, you're not able to get those suppressive fire shots down, and it's going to be Hotto taking a tiny sliver of damage. She does manage to run away in time, and this time that elbow wall does get reinforced, which means Nocturnal is going to have a little bit more of a trickier time to open up that wall.
Yeah, they'll need to be extra careful about whether they go in for the push, because this could really introduce a little bit of an extra hurdle, I suppose, for them to go over. But given the way how they've been pushing as of recently, I don't think this will drain as much time as maybe Barry's Bees were expecting. Although this is already a step in the right direction, rather. And curious how will Small Chazza will be able to play out her part here.
A lot of time is being drained away from the clock, and those vigil scans, they're so incredibly annoying as an attacker to go around, because you don't know where that vigil could be playing. Is he playing on site? Is he playing above? Those little shots out from Hotto is going to mildly confirm her position, as well as her taking down that drone is going to make it quite obvious to members of Nocturnal exactly where she is. Ozzy gets that first headshot onto Gorn Walkabout and is going to be the smoke player, unfortunately without using any of the smokes. But Barry's Bees isn't letting this up, and it's going to be the down 4 and Small Chazza netting their own kills respectively. And we do see a little bit of a rotation coming out from Nocturnal. They're going for more of a laundry-sided take. Small Chazza gets that kill onto Tiger, and this all of a sudden is looking to be in Barry's Bees' favor.
Oh, but hold your breath on this one, because Sav and Pleasant are actually going on quite a tear. Actually, one player remaining, that is Hotto, try to clutch this out. She is on full HP, so she just might be able to take a gunfight or two, and this is exactly what she will need right now. Crescent about to go in for that gunfight. Gets tagged up a little bit amidst all of that chaos, but right now, with the timer is starting to run low, the push needs to happen. Sav finishes off the kill, and well, it's Crescent to find a shot into Hotto, but oh, so close here for Barry's Bees to be able to win a round.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that was almost the closest round that we've seen in a while. That was definitely a good show of events from Barry's Bees. That laundry rotation out from Nocturnal, whoever called it, was such a great call, because Barry's Bees were not expecting it. I can confirm that for sure. They had that tower-sided defense down pat. It was so strong there. And all of a sudden, the laundry presence just pops out, and they net, these kills just constantly, and it really instantly turned the favor of the fight.
Yeah, that was a very quick performance there. or rather quick turnaround. And well, Chaz's pick of Frost technically actually paid off. It was most certainly a much closer turnout to what we've seen previously. So yeah, big props to Chaza for being able to pull up, but unfortunately just couldn't really put this all the way in favor of her team. Alas, the 6 rounds in a row do bring Nocturnal their match point, so they only 1 round away from coming out victorious here, and their defense here is going to be held in Kid's Room.
I don't know, do you think we're going to be seeing a similar performance to the game number 1 that we've seen, Cthulhu? Do you think it's going to go to a 6-1, or do you think it's just going to finish off at a, 7-0?
I'm tempted to say 7-0, just because this has been a pretty dominant performance, more so than even 71st's performance. So we'll have to see, I suppose, because an X-Elevate lineup, for the most of it, 3 players actually, I would say that they actually would have a little bit more chances of going flawless rather than the 71st lineup. Although, not to discredit 71st, they had a phenomenal game.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the lineup of Nocturnal right now, just based on their, KDs, it is Crescent who is actually on 7 KD, which is incredibly... Oh, wait, did Weedman bug out on that repel? I looked really weird for a second.
I think so, yeah. That was a little bit wonky there.
That was really weird. But I do want to point out, Crescent on that 7-0 KD is quite a force to be reckoned with, and we didn't see any games come out of her last time, so she's definitely making an incredible debut game on her first XP esport game, and if I were her, I'm feeling pretty good at this point.
Definitely, yeah. Well, we're already seeing a few breaches start to come out from Hotto, who's just starting to get to work on the wall. I'm curious if this is actually vaultable. I don't think it actually is, so we might be seeing actually just about a similar outcome of what Nutty Gaming were running into, where they have a good peak hole, but it's not vaultable, I believe. So unfortunately for Hotto, she will have to use her last Selma charge. Although that is if they are unable to vault, but for now they are quite aware that there might be some presence behind the ballistic shield, and time will tell as to how do they want to really play their cards here.
I don't think that wall is vaultable, and if anything, I think it's a perfect head height for Crescent to pop someone through it. Normally you do open up, especially if you're playing Habana, you would open up, a higher portion of that wall just to flush out anyone who could be holding really close to that attic breach hole. Maybe flush them out if they were on the boxes. But definitely the rest of your thermite charges, your ace charges, or whatever charges you use for hard breaching are normally placed a little bit lower just so your teammates can get through.
Yeah, and especially with the fact that Ace will soon get the... there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh, that is...
You can't pick that up.
And it can't be picked up. Oh, no,
Oh,
wait.
no, you can.
Okay,
Okay,
we're good.
never
We're
mind.
fine. Cool, sweet, perfect.
Okay.
Well, Hotto at the very least will still be able to open up the walking hole, but right now this means that the push will be quite an immediate one. Look at this already, just funneling straight away through all of the potential positions. Serenity is already on the flank, going for a spray down. That's already 1 down, 2 down. That's a triple already. But Going Walkabouts is just rushing in, going straight in. But I can't even keep up. This is a complete wipe. Ozzy gets a double kill, and well, a GG, well played, 7-0.
That was an unfortunate turn of events out from Hotto. I don't think she was expecting her ace charges to not be vaultable straight off the bat. Definitely something to take into account when you're placing your ace charges. You do want to place it a little bit lower because you're not a thermite. You can't really open up the entirety of the wall if you place it too high. It was a great flank out from Serenity, but I do think, the fate of Barry's Bees was already confirmed when those initial ace charges did not effectively go off.
Yeah. Well, that was a very swift dub here from both a very dominant performance though, from Nocturnal, and well, quite an unfortunate outcome there from Barry's Bees, but they'll still get a few more chances to really see if they can get themselves a dub here. But look, this still has been a pretty interesting match to say the very least. For the at the very least, that final round was already quite a highlight in its own entirety. After seeing just the floodgates open and then the full push of Barry's Bees just try to flood the attic, and I would be scared and yelling probably in the comms if I would have seen that happen to me.
I mean, look, they recognized they made a mistake. They went to go fix it, and they went, you know what? We're just gonna run down attic, and it actually almost worked. If there was no flank presence out from Nocturnal, they really could have probably pulled it off with such a strong attic presence, because the Valkyrie player who was playing, they definitely, retreated instantly. She went to peek out from the deployable shield. She's seen that there was not one, not two, but all of them out there in attic, one on the attic window, the rest pushing through those attic breaches. She was like, you know what? No, not today. I'm going.
Exactly. Well, yeah. There we go. There we have it. There's the ending for the second matchup of day one. And well, yeah. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the results of tonight, just to get ourselves a little bit refreshed as well on the scorelines. There we go. 7-1 scoreline from 71st against Nutty Gaming, and then a 7-0 for Nocturnal against Barry's Bees. Two very quick, very swift matchups that should already set a bit of a initial, I suppose, picture as to how would the leaderboard shape up in the future.
Yeah, a team like Nocturna, we definitely had our expectations set out extremely high. As we've said many times already, they are the ex-members of the winners of Season 2 XP Esports. So, to come up with anything less than a stellar performance is, it's going to be disappointing. So at this round, we're quite excited to see how they're going to be pulling through. The full round robin standings is coming out, and as we see, it is Nocturnal and Elevate head-to-head in first place, and in 71st with their astounding win as well. However, it is going to be Nocturnal, front of the leaderboard, the only team to actually win with a clean 7-0 this entire time.
Yeah, interestingly enough as well, Elevate did drop a single round in their matchup against Kingswomen, who unfortunately for themselves fell under the pressure. And, well, yeah, that's already setting a pretty interesting picture for the next week once we shall be returning the next Thursday. Nocturnal looking like they just might be looking at the second, for some of those players, a second trophy to be achieved here, but I suppose only time will tell. But yeah, look, this just makes me even more so excited about the future games than anything else, really. Just all of these storylines and rivalries that could be forming up.
Yeah, definitely it looks like the teams to keep our eye on this time is going to be Nocturnal as well as Elevate. Elevate being the organization that did win. However, these players are a little bit different to before. Next stream, I believe we will be seeing them on stream, so we can talk about them in more detail. As it is, I won't say anything about it just to keep it spoiler free. But Nocturnal really showed up today, really showed us what they're made out of. Showed that the players, even the ones who are different, are still incredibly strong, and you shouldn't be underestimating them.
Yeah, definitely. 71st looking to make quite a statement, and well, maybe in the future matches they will be making an even bigger statement. But for now, for tonight, this is all from us as well. Thank you all for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Pi, for joining me as well.
Thank you.
Huge thank you as well also to our wonderful sponsors at the ZQ Racing, Ubisoft, and Computer Alliance. And on behalf of XP Esports, myself and Pi, we'll see you next Thursday. Take it easy and stay safe.
Bye-bye.
I've seen your face when I'm alone. I think that you should come back home. I think that you should come back home.
all the places that you could take me. Why you so shy? You got me going wild. Cause I've been saying that you got it, baby, give it to me. See my lightning, you gonna feel my thunder. Show me how you do it, come on baby, say it louder. Got you on my mind now, let me see your style. I'm on my way tonight, oh yeah, yeah. Cause I think about you, you. Cause I think about what I think about you. I wanted to make you see that you were the one for me. But there was enough, cause you're up and down and then everything's the same. Baby, how do I make you listen? Don't wanna be through, cause I wanna put you, baby. You need tonight.